You step out of the shower and accidentally place your hand on a glowing red burner. You smell burning flesh before you even notice. There's no scream, no flinch, just curiosity. You stare at the blackened imprint of your hand on the stove. No panic, no pain. And now, no fingers. Welcome to a world without pain. Right now, your body is running millions of pain calculations you never think about. The slight pressure in your lower back telling you to shift positions. The dryness in your throat suggesting water. The subtle ache warning you not to push that workout too hard. Every second of every day, pain is having conversations with your consciousness. Negotiations you don't even realize are keeping you alive. But what if tomorrow morning, that entire communication system just switched off? Pain isn't just something you wish would go away when you have a headache or stub your toe. It's the invisible shield that saved your life thousands of times before you could walk. It's why you pulled your hand back from that candle flame as a toddler. Why you limped off that twisted ankle before permanent damage set in. Why you knew something was desperately wrong when your appendix started its revolt. Pain is your body's most honest friend, the one that never lies to make you feel better. Removing all human pain might sound like paradise. No more migraines, no more chronic agony, no more suffering. But it's actually the beginning of a global biological disaster so profound that within a single generation, humanity would transform into something unrecognizable, not through evolution or technology, but through the simple absence of our most ancient warning system. The first 24 hours would be deceptively peaceful. You wake up feeling incredible, that chronic knee pain gone, that tension headache vanished, that nagging shoulder ache completely absent. Across the world, 8 billion people experience the same revelation. Arthritis sufferers leap from bed. Cancer patients smile for the first time in months. Children with toothaches finally sleep soundly. For exactly 17 minutes, it seems like humanity has entered a new golden age. Then, the accidents begin. You're making breakfast, and the knife slips while cutting bread. It goes straight through your finger, but you don't notice until you see red spreading across the cutting board. You stare at the severed digit with the same mild interest you'd give a cooking show. Your child runs into the kitchen, broken glass embedded in their feet, leaving bloody footprints but still laughing, because why wouldn't they? They can't feel anything wrong. By noon, emergency rooms worldwide are overwhelmed with a new kind of patient. People who don't know they're dying. A construction worker arrives with a steel beam through his torso, casually asking if someone can remove it because it's affecting his balance. A jogger walks in with her tibia protruding through her skin, annoyed that her leg won't work properly. Children arrive with third-degree burns covering their bodies, collected by horrified parents who only notice because of the smell. But here's where the true horror begins to reveal itself. Doctors can't diagnose anything anymore. Medicine has always been a partnership between patient and physician, with pain as the primary translator. Where does it hurt? How much? Sharp or dull? Constant or intermittent? Without pain's vocabulary, doctors are reduced to guessing games with deadly stakes. That could be appendicitis or indigestion. That might be a heart attack or muscle strain. Without pain to guide them, every diagnosis becomes a shot in the dark. Day 3 brings systematic collapse of safety protocols worldwide. Factory workers lean against molten metal because it feels warm. Surgeons can't tell if they're cutting too deep because patients can't warn them. Athletes continue playing on shattered bones, turning simple fractures into permanent disabilities. Your neighbor mows his lawn unaware that the blade has severed 3 toes until he notices his shoe filling with something wet. But here's where the pattern interrupt nobody predicted. Suicides don't decrease at all. Because while physical pain has vanished, emotional pain remains untouched. Depression still crushes spirits. Anxiety still races hearts. Heartbreak still shatters souls. The realization hits humanity like a collective gut punch you can't feel. We've only lost half our pain, and it might have been the half we needed most. By day 7, children become the primary casualties. Without pain to teach boundaries, every child becomes a tiny destroyer of their own body. They chew through their own tongues while teething. They hold their hands over flame because the dancing light is pretty. They jump from heights that shatter bones because falling feels like flying until the landing they never feel. Parents watch in horror, unable to teach danger to children who can't comprehend consequences their bodies don't communicate. The first month reveals the collapse of entire industries. Pharmaceutical companies manufacturing painkillers declare bankruptcy overnight. Dentists can't practice when patients don't know they have cavities until teeth fall out. Massage therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists, entire professions built around managing pain simply cease to exist. Insurance companies can't process injury claims without proof of suffering. How do you quantify damage nobody feels? But nature abhors a vacuum, and humanity begins to adapt in disturbing ways. By month 6, society starts reshaping itself around painlessness. Military forces recruit soldiers who can't feel wounds, creating armies of unstoppable but ultimately disposable warriors who fight until mechanical failure, not pain, stops them. Sports evolve into gladiatorial spectacles, where athletes compete until bones break and muscles tear, because nobody knows their limits anymore. Work environments become inhumanely efficient. Why have safety regulations when workers can't suffer? Parents struggle with a new kind of nightmare. Your child comes home from school with a broken arm, and you only notice because it's hanging at an impossible angle. They've been using it all day, making the damage catastrophically worse. Dinner time becomes an inspection ritual, checking every inch of skin for damage they don't know about. Bedtime stories are replaced by body scans, looking for the injuries that could kill them in their sleep. Medical research stalls completely. Every drug trial, every treatment study, every surgical technique has always relied on patient feedback. Does this hurt less? Becomes a meaningless question. Cancer spreads undetected until organs fail. Infections rage through bodies that don't know their battlegrounds. Heart disease progresses silently until the moment of collapse. We've become blind to our own biology. And then, the underground market emerges. Pain dealers. Some people want their pain back. They've watched loved ones die from preventable injuries. They've seen their children mutilate themselves in ignorance. Black market neural technology appears promising to restore what evolution stole. Pain chips that reconnect neural pathways, sensation serums that claim to reactivate dormant receptors. Desperate parents mortgage homes to buy their children the ability to suffer again because suffering means surviving. Others seek pain for darker reasons. Without physical sensation to ground them, thrill seekers push increasingly extreme boundaries. They inject themselves with experimental compounds that promise to restore sensation for just a few hours. They pay fortunes to feel what everyone once took for granted. Pain becomes a luxury item, a designer drug for those who remember what it meant to truly feel alive. Year 10 brings evolutionary pressure unlike anything in human history. Children born into the painless world develop differently. Their bones grow denser from constant unnoticed breaks and repairs. Their skin thickens from repeated damage. Their organs adapt to function despite chronic untreated damage. Humanity isn't evolving beyond pain, it's evolving into something that can survive despite destroying itself daily. But the psychological evolution is even more disturbing. Empathy begins to fade from the species. When you can't feel pain, watching others experience what they claim is agony becomes increasingly abstract. You understand intellectually that someone is suffering, but without your own pain as a reference, it's like trying to understand colors you've never seen. Compassion becomes a remembered concept, not a felt response. Year 50 sees the rise of the sensory wars. Humanity splits into two factions, the painless and the restored. Those who've reintroduced pain through technology view themselves as the last true humans. Those who remain painless see themselves as evolved beyond primitive sensation. Discrimination emerges based on neural capacity. Jobs require pain capability tests. Relationships fracture over sensory differences. Can someone who feels pain truly love someone who doesn't? Can a painless parent properly raise a feeling child? The painless develop their own culture, one of casual self-destruction and mechanical maintenance. They schedule regular full-body scans to catch damage. They wear monitoring devices that alert them to injury through visual or auditory signals, a beep for a broken bone, a light for a laceration. They treat their bodies like vehicles requiring regular inspection, not homes they inhabit. Meanwhile, the restored create pain temples, places where sensation is celebrated and preserved. They document every type of pain like sommeliers cataloging wine, the sharp shock of a bee sting, the deep ache of a healing bone, the burning spread of infection. They've become archivists of agony, preserving humanity's painful heritage for reasons they can't fully articulate but desperately believe matter. Year 100 brings the ultimate transformation. Humans have evolved into something colder, more mechanical, not through technology, but through adaptation to painlessness. Skin isn't just thicker, it's armored with scar tissue from countless unnoticed injuries. Bones aren't just denser, they're riddled with healed fractures that create natural reinforcement. We've become walking monuments to damage we never felt. Without pain, human interaction becomes purely transactional. Why comfort someone who is not suffering? Why rush to help someone who doesn't feel distress? Emergency response disappears not from cruelty, but from irrelevance. You watch someone bleeding out with the same detachment you'd observe rain falling. It's just another process happening to matter that happens to be arranged in human form. Extreme sports transform into something beyond recognition. It's not about adrenaline anymore. Without pain, there's no real fear to trigger it. Instead, it becomes about discovering limits through destruction. How far can you fall before bones won't support weight? How long can you hold your breath before brain damage begins? How much blood can you lose before consciousness